Welcome to the decisionMe raDAR application. raDAR reduces risks in decision-making by leveraging AI, analytics, and reasoning. Clarity replaces uncertainty, and sound decisions become second nature. In this tutorial, we will focus on the results page. It will be your guide to understanding how decisionMe raDAR turns your inputs into a confident, data-driven choice. In the next few minutes, we'll walk through what the results show, how they're generated using simulation and statistics, and why you can trust what you've done. Let's unlock the power behind your best decision. When it comes to results, 3 truths remain. Trust the data because confidence doesn't come from a hunch. It comes from tested, transparent analytics. See the story. Every chart, score, and scenario is telling you something. Learn to read it. Own the outcome. Decisions that are documented and defensible aren't just smart, they're powerful. This is where clarity meets confidence and where your decision becomes your strategy. Behind every decision you trust is a powerful engine at work. AI gives you context. Machine learning finds patterns and priorities. Simulations test your assumptions. And your input brings the human perspective. These 4 forces work together seamlessly inside the framework, turning complex choices into confident outcomes. It's not just analysis, it's your decision elevated. Congratulations, you've done the hard work. Your criteria are set, your scenarios analyzed, and now it's time. With the power of AI, machine learning, and statistical simulation, decisionMe raDAR has locked in the best choice. No guesswork. No bias. Just clear data-driven confidence. Let's explore the analysis. You've completed your scoring, and now decisionMe raDAR takes over. In the background, our powerful simulation and statistical analysis engine does the heavy lifting. That means deep insight delivered fast. The results page is designed for clarity. Right at the top, you'll see your decision summary and the winning scenario, chosen through data, not guesswork. You'll also find relevant statistics, so you know why it won, not just that it did. To help visualize the outcome, 2 key charts are included. The all-scenario simulation chart, which shows how every option performed across thousands of tests, and the means raDAR chart, offering a quick view of how each scenario compares across all criteria. We'll explore these visuals in more detail later, but for now, you can view your full report on screen or download it as a Word document using the button at the bottom. Viewing your report is easy and flexible. Click the View Report button at the bottom of the screen. The report is rendered to your screen. Scroll as you desire. Want a copy in Word? Exporting your report is easy and flexible. Click the Download Report button at the bottom of the screen to download a Docs file. The report includes fully editable text, tables, and charts, perfect for sharing, presentations, or building into other documents. Once you've exported, remember to check your Downloads folder. At the top of your Word report, you'll find a table of contents, along with a full list of tables and figures. Using Word's built-in functionality, you can jump straight to any section or chart with just a click. The summary section is where your decision reveals itself. It documents the decision maker, the decision, and the winning scenario, complete with all relevant data. This section gives anyone reading the report immediate insight into what was decided, why, and who owns the outcome. In the shaping section, we provide helpful definitions to ensure that anyone, regardless of experience, will follow your decision process with clarity. We begin with the decision score, which reflects how well your decision has been structured and defined. A high score means your inputs follow best practices, clear, thorough, and logically sound. You'll also see how many times you used AI assistance during the process, showing the level of guidance and refinement you applied. From there, we walk through your full decision description, followed by your defined constraints, key preconditions, and what you identified as success guarantees. This foundation gives your decision both transparency and credibility. The next section of your report covers the criteria. the foundation of how your scenarios were evaluated. We start with a clear definition. Criteria are the items you use to compare and assess your scenarios. Each criterion is fully documented, including its name, a detailed description, and the type, whether it's a score, a numeric value, or a list-based category. You'll also see the specific values that define each type, making it easy to understand how each scenario was measured. For transparency and traceability, we record the weight you assign to each criterion, as well as its creation and last update dates, supporting full auditability of your decision-making process. The scenario section represents the potential outcomes you considered in your decision. We begin by identifying how many scenarios you created and distinguish between base scenarios, which are familiar and well-defined, and test scenarios, which explore more uncertain or unfamiliar options. For each scenario, we document the description, important notes, any defined constraints, and the associated risks. Then, for every criterion you used, we show the normalized scores applied to that scenario, along with the creation and update dates. This complete view lets you trace exactly how your criteria and scoring process contributed to the selection of the winning scenario, ensuring full transparency and accountability. The statistical details section brings your decision into sharp focus using advanced statistical analysis. The decisionMe statistical machine learning model runs over 10,000 simulations for each scenario, using your defined minimum, typical, and maximum values. The overlay histogram displays how each scenario performs across those simulations. At the center of each curve is the mean, the average result across all runs. The farther apart the means, the more statistically significant the difference between scenarios. If two means are very close, those scenarios may be functionally interchangeable, and that gives you flexibility. Just above the histogram, the box plots visualize how consistent or variable each scenario is. Each box shows the interquartile range, the middle 50% of outcomes, while the center line marks the median. The whiskers extend to show the full spread of typical outcomes, and outliers are flagged clearly. These visuals help you quickly assess risk, reliability, and performance. So your winning scenario isn't just a good choice. It's a data-backed, statistically sound one. The distribution charts offer a step-by-step visual breakdown of how your scenarios performed in simulation. We start by showing the winning scenario versus the runner-up, a focused view that highlights how clearly your top choice outperformed the next best option. Next, each test scenario is individually compared against the base scenarios, allowing you to evaluate risk and performance in context with familiar options. For convenience, we then present the winner alone without any overlays. This clean view makes it easy to focus on your selected outcome without distraction. Finally, we bring it all together in a combined overlay chart showing all scenarios at once. This full comparison lets you see the spread, overlap, and distance between distributions, helping you understand how strong or subtle the differences are between each choice. Numerical difference charts are a powerful way to see the real-world impact of your decision, whether it's cost savings, time gained, or resources used. Think of each chart as a simple subtraction, winner minus competitor, for example. If the number is positive, the winner has more of that criterion than the other scenario. If it's negative, the winner has less, which may be a good thing depending on what you're measuring. For example, let's say you're comparing deck construction costs. If your winning scenario is Mr. Handyman and you're comparing it to do it yourself, a positive number means Mr. Handyman costs more, and the chart tells you exactly how much more. For every numeric criterion you defined, like cost, time, or labor, we create one of these charts. They help you clearly see what you're gaining or giving up by selecting one scenario over another. These charts aren't just numbers, they tell the story of impact behind your decision. We provide two powerful ways to view and compare the means of your decision scenarios. The mean or average tells you the most likely outcome for each scenario based on all simulated runs. It's a key indicator of expected performance and often the clearest way to compare value. First, the raDAR chart gives you a visual map of how each scenario performs across all criteria. Each axis represents a different scenario, and the shape of the plot shows patterns and strengths at a glance. It's ideal for spotting overall balance or trade-offs between options. Second, we show a mean comparison chart using subtraction. Here, the winning scenario is always set to 0, and each alternative shows how far it falls behind based on the difference in mean values. This lets you instantly see how much better the winner performed and where others came close or fell short. Sensitivity analysis is a required methodology in multi-criteria decision-making. It helps ensure that your decision is not only well-structured, but also stable and trustworthy under changing conditions. In decisionMe raDAR, our machine learning model uses sensitivity analysis to test how your decision responds to changes in subjective inputs like weights, values, or scoring assumptions. If small adjustments in those inputs lead to major shifts in results, that indicates high sensitivity and potential risk. That's why this step is essential. It identifies which criteria have the most influence on your final outcome, prompting you to review those inputs for accuracy. We provide a sensitivity chart for each scenario, showing the criteria that most affect the score. By examining these charts, you can spot which areas of your decision framework need closer attention, and make sure your most critical inputs are well supported and refined. In short, sensitivity analysis helps you strengthen your decision where it matters most. Significance testing is a critical part of data-driven decision-making. It helps you determine whether the difference between two scenarios is real or just a result of random chance. In decisionMe raDAR, we use statistical tools like the t-statistic and the p-value to measure this. The t-statistic tells us how far apart two scenario outcomes are in standard units. Larger values usually mean a bigger difference. The p-value tells us how likely that difference is to have occurred by chance. A low p-value, typically less than 0.05, means the difference is statistically significant and worth paying attention to. But don't worry, you don't have to interpret these values on your own. We interpret them for you, clearly marking which scenario comparisons are statistically significant. Why is this important? Because it gives you confidence that your winning scenario didn't just come out on top by luck. It truly outperformed the others based on your data. The final two sections of your report provide powerful summaries through deciles and descriptive statistics. First, the deciles table divides the score distribution for each scenario into 10 equal parts. Each row shows the value below which a given percentage of simulation results fall. For example, the 10% decile means 10% of scores were below that number, useful if you're evaluating risk or worst-case outcomes. Comparing deciles across scenarios helps you see how outcomes are spread, not just the average, but the range and shape of results. Next, the descriptive statistics table gives you a compact summary of each scenario's performance. Here's what it includes: minimum and maximum, the lowest and highest simulated results; mean, the average outcome, your most likely result; variance and standard deviation. These show how spread out the scores are. High values mean more unpredictability. Skewness tells you if results lean high or low. Positive skew means more lower outcomes, and vice versa. Kurtosis measures how sharply scores cluster. High kurtosis means more extreme values or outliers. Together, these two sections help you deeply understand the distribution, risk, and reliability of your scenarios, so you can back your decision with confidence. You've successfully navigated all 6 steps of the decision-making process, from shaping your decision to scoring your scenarios with precision and insight. You've generated a complete data-backed report. Now all that's left is to make your decision operational, put it into action. With a clear path forward and full transparency behind you, you've earned more than just a great outcome. You've achieved peace of mind,